Did you see that action shot where I jumped over that orange cone just then? All about action. All right, I'm even avoiding loud noises from the building because I'm a man of action. I'm the representation of a healthy man, a healthy, normal man, mainly of European descent. Which, by the way, as you know, I did that little DNA test, so by September we'll know more exactly how European I am. Did you see what I snatched? I snatched a birthday card from my office, a birthday card. And I've had those up, you know, for how many months now? 3 months? I've been 36 for what, 90 days, is that right? April, May, June, I think, yeah. And so, you know, what do you do with birthday cards? So I just put them up on my, you know, kind of behind me on the cubicle wall. And as I was walking in, I was like, I don't even know what this says anymore. It's been 90 days. So it says, on your birthday, the years of life are like a gift to each one of us can use to make a difference in the world in any way we choose. So I was like, oh, okay. And it goes on, it's from my sister-in-law. She says, because you see the world as a positive place, you make it that way too. That's why it's such a pleasure to know you and wish you the very happiest of birthdays. So again, the focus of this is, because you see the world as such a positive place, you make it that way too. Now, my sister-in-law spent $5 on this card. $5 on this card. She read all the cards, and she knows me as a person who's going to make the world a more positive place. Because as I always say, you are either a victim or you are a victor. And there's no in between. If you're in between, then you're still a victim. Okay? Now, here's the way I choose to make the world a more positive place. I choose to see the world in a way where it's never been a better time to go bald. It's never been a better time to go bald than right now. So if you're thinking about losing your hair, if you're thinking about going bald, if you're thinking about having a receding hairline, even if you're thinking about losing your hair, whoa, like a wasp. Even if you're thinking about losing your hair as a teenager, well, you know, maybe you're only 15 or 16 and you're starting to have a hairline like mine, or you're starting to see that. It's never been a better time to do it. I mean, in every way when you think about it, you know? I mean, obviously, to point out the obvious thing would be that it's so cool to have a buzzed or shaved head now. Like, it's never been more acceptable in American society. Or, well, I say American, but yet so much of the rest of the world watches our movies anyway. So when they see something like all 7 of the Fast and Furious movies, and Jason Statham, he's British. It's never been cooler. But aside from that, there's never been more options to do something about trying to save your hair. Like with Rogaine and Propecia and those things. Or if you're like me and you're trying the rosemary oil, I'm into week 7. Actually, is today the 25th? Today's the 25th and it's been 7 months. I need to check that and maybe do a different video. That's weird. Pretty sure it is. So now, you know, 7. So, and I've never, well, I should do that in a different video. Okay, forget I said that. We'll do that in a different video. So, and of course, hair transplants have never been more legitimate than they've been right now in the course of history. Compare that to the 70s when Donald Trump was getting whatever he was getting, or the 80s, back whenever he was getting what he was getting, you know, back when things were kind of sketchy. Now, you see billboards for hair transplants. So there's so many options to try to save your hair, to do something about it. There's specialists to go to. There's stuff you can do about it. Plus, if you say forget that, I'll just be the bald guy because it's cool anyway. And isn't that interesting that you've got such a spread of things to do that you can do to best suit your interests? Isn't that amazing? And isn't that ironic? Isn't that ironic that whereas it's never been easier to get a hair transplant or take medications to try to save your hair, it's also never been cooler to do the opposite, which is just to embrace the baldness and be the bald guy. Like, never in history that I'm aware of has it ever been this easy and this cool and this acceptable to lose your hair. So, when I get a card like this 90 days ago, and it says, because you see the world as such a positive place, you make it that way too. This is an example of that. And this is from my sister-in-law, who I only see a couple of times a year. She lives in Northern California. But she's known me in those visits over the past 10 years that her sister and I have been together, 9 of those years being married. And she knows that about me. So it's not just me as a YouTuber, it's me as a person. And the cool thing about it is, not only do you have a choice on what you want to do about your hair loss, whether you want to try to save it or you want to be the bald guy, embrace that character, you get to also choose to get to be victorious. You get to choose, make that decision yourself, okay? So once we figure out what you want to do about your hair loss, whether you want to embrace it or try to save your hair, either way, do whatever is right for you. Then you work your way through your hair loss journey. And the next thing will be where you will get to the point where you don't let other people affect your emotions and insult you and hurt you. And you get to the point where you no longer need confirmation from other people. Facebook is the easiest, obvious way that people, they prove that they need confirmation for other people in their beliefs and their value. And once you can not need social media to do that and get that confirmation, and you don't let people hurt your feelings and affect your emotions, and you found your thing that you're going to do, whether it's to save your hair or embrace it, then you're in a good spot. And I am going to help you get there. Because why? I'm Nick Shell. That's why. Nick Shell. What is that? That's like, it's like a sprinkle from my daughter's t-shirt, I think.